Hey everybody, it's JDog6156 and I'm coming to you with an election prediction, and it will be 2024 election prediction between current President Joe Biden and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, if that name sounds familiar, he is basically the new Trump, but if Trump decides not to run in 2024. So if Trump decides not to run in 2024, the field will be cleared for DeSantis. The only person who could go up against him is Nikki Haley. But other than her, Ron DeSantis would pretty much have like the nomination locked down. Not saying that Nikki Haley would win. It's just that she would be just like a good challenge towards him. But anyway, let's begin. Let's get the solid states out of the way. Um, California, Oregon, Washington, Hawaii. Now, many people would think Oregon would be likely, but I kind of think Oregon will go safe. Now, if it was someone like Kamala Harris, then Oregon would go likely. But anyway, continuing. Illinois, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut. All these states up here. New York, not Pennsylvania, my bad. And I think yeah, Maine's first district. Now, Mississippi is not going to be likely. I mean, safe. All right. So let's get the safe states down for DeSantis. It would be Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, all of Nebraska's districts except for the 2nd Congressional District. Kansas, Oklahoma. Many people think Kansas would be likely, but no, I think Ron DeSantis would do better in suburban areas than Trump. Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, the states that are in the Appalachia region. South Carolina, nah, it's not going to be safe, but it is going to go to DeSantis by like the same margin Trump won it in 2016. Indiana would be safe. And I think that's all. So moving on to the likely states, Colorado, seeing a leftward trend, even if DeSantis does do better in the suburban part of the states, I doubt that he would break under the likely margins. So yeah, Colorado will stay as likely. Another likely state would be Virginia. DeSantis, despite him doing well in the suburbs and Trump, he wouldn't do well in this northeastern region that many people have named Nova, DC suburbs. DeSantis wouldn't do well there. The only type of Republican that would do well there is basically a Bush or a Romney or a McCain type Republican. And if you're wondering who in the Republican Party could do that, well, obviously Romney, Collins, and maybe Nikki Haley to some sort of extent, but yeah, that's the likely states. Maine at large would be likely. Let me see where else. I think that's all of the likely states for Biden. Now let's move to the likely states for DeSantis. Texas. DeSantis does better in the suburbs than Trump, especially around Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, Houston. So, and with Hispanic in the Rio Grande area. So I really do think that DeSantis would win it by at least like a 8 point. Because, I mean, given the trends of Texas, I kind of see Republicans winning it between 3 and 9 points in the future. Then that margin will go down and down and down and down. But right now I see DeSantis winning it by at least like between 6 and 8 points. Iowa would be likely. Ohio would be likely as well. South Carolina would be likely, but however, DeSantis wins it by the same margin Trump did, like 14.7, close to safe, but not exactly safe margin wise. Florida being Ron DeSantis's home state would also be likely, and Alaska would be likely as well. And I think that, oh yeah, Maine's second district would be likely. And I think we got all the likely states for DeSantis. Now let's move on to the lean states. Minnesota would be lean. Biden would like win it by like at least like 4 points. Because DeSantis does better in suburbs in pretty much 2024, given that Biden's approval rating is still down despite it now reaching 40%, the 2024 would most likely be a pushback election. Biden was only elected off of the basis to get rid of Trump, so 2020 was more of an anti-Trump type election rather than a pro-Biden type election. So Minnesota would trend back to Republicans, but not too much to the point where it will flip. New Mexico would also be lean. That would be a huge trend. I think New Mexico voted for Biden by like 10 points. I mean, this is only if Hispanic trends and if Biden's approval rating keeps like at the same point or keeps going down. So give or take. I might change this sooner or later because me just realizing that Biden won the state by 10 points, but like we've seen states, especially in modern time, go from going for Republicans or Democrats by huge margins, then easily go into the other side in a huge shift. Like look at Georgia. Georgia voted for Trump by at least like 5 points in 2016. Then in 2020, they voted for Biden by 0.3. So any state, even with the polarization and how polarized this nation is, can still trend heavily in one direction. So just keep that in mind. Let me see. I think that pretty much summarizes all of the lean states for Biden. All right. Lean states for DeSantis. DeSantis would win North Carolina by a lean margin. He would do slightly better than Trump. Trump won the state by 1.2. DeSantis might win the state by at least like 2 to 3 points. However, I don't see him making anything higher than at least like 3.1. He could. I'm just saying, I just don't see that. Wisconsin would be lean. Let me see where else. All right, I think that sums it up. Oh, Nebraska's second district would be lean as well. DeSantis, like I said, he does well. He would do better in the suburban areas of the country than Trump did. He could bring that whole realignment to the Rust Belt into full fruition. And let's get down to the tilt states. DeSantis wins Georgia by a tilt margin. He's from Florida that borders Georgia. And despite him being like a Trump-like candidate, I kind of think that he would win in Georgia by reversing the suburban trends. I mean, Arizona, Wisconsin, and Georgia voted for Biden under 1%. I think all of them voted for Biden under... They voted for Biden under 0.5%, meaning that if the election would have shifted 1 point in Trump's direction, then he would have been president right now. So all DeSantis would need to do is like keep Atlanta, and especially Atlanta suburbs, from trending to the left, and he would win Georgia. Because the Atlanta suburbs basically made the whole state flip blue. Outside of Georgia, I mean, he could boost margins up there. I think there is a way how he could do that without needing the Atlanta suburbs. Like, he would need to boost turnout in, like, the Black Belt area of Georgia, but I don't see DeSantis doing that. Pennsylvania would also be tilt along with Michigan, and DeSantis wins the election after passing 270. Arizona would be tilt along with Nevada, which is weird. You see a tilt red Nevada and not a likely Oregon. And finally, we have New Hampshire. New Hampshire will go to Biden by like a tilt margin. So honestly, this is my election prediction for 2024 if DeSantis against Biden. Now, this is slightly better for Biden since his approval rating had bounced up a tad bit, but he still doesn't win. If his approval rating does boost up, he might be able to win over like Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Nevada. But right now, this is what I have it as. We have Biden at 225 to DeSantis 313. So yeah, if you agree with this, drop a like and let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Is this going to be 2024? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, in all seriousness, with showing that Georgia flipped in 2020, anything could happen. Like, I would be even more surprised if, like, DeSantis was to flip Minnesota, New Mexico, New Hampshire. Okay, so that is it. Um, Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you feel. Tell me about how you feel about this